We often think of the wilderness as a place of absolute silence. We seek it out to escape the noise of our modern lives. But in the deep, untouched forests of the Pacific Northwest, there is a type of silence that isn't empty. It's heavy. It's a silence that feels like it's pressing against your eardrums. Rangers call these areas dead zones. In these pockets of ancient wood, the laws of physics seem to fray at the edges. Your compass spins, your watch stops, and your phone begins to emit a rhythmic, pulsing white noise. They don't call it static, they call it the breathing of the woods. In the summer of 2023, David, a man who had spent 20 years photographing the world's most dangerous landscapes, decided to hunt the source of this sound. David didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in frequencies. He entered the Vermont wilderness with a professional analog recorder and a 35mm film camera. He famously said that digital sensors were cowardly, that they glitched because they couldn't handle the truth of what they saw. He wanted the truth on physical film. By the third day, the atmosphere changed. The birds didn't just stop singing. It was as if they had never existed. The air felt thick, like walking through water. David wrote in his final journal entry, "I used to think that predators were loud. Lions roar, wolves howl. But the ultimate predator doesn't need to make a sound. It waits for you to make one. I've realized that silence is a predator's greatest tool. When the woods go quiet, it's because the forest is holding its breath, waiting for the monster to pass by. And right now, I am the only thing making noise." Then, the static started. It wasn't coming from his speakers. It was vibrating inside his teeth. David raised his camera. Looking through the glass lens, between two skeletal birch trees, he saw it. It was a figure, perhaps 9 feet tall. Its limbs were impossibly thin, like charred branches stripped of their bark. Its skin was a pale, flickering gray, not a solid color, but a shifting texture that looked like a television screen losing its signal. It had no eyes, no mouth, just a smooth, terrifyingly blank face that seemed to be vibrating at a high frequency. David's voice on the recording is a ragged whisper. It doesn't move like us." I looked away for a second to change the film, and when I looked back, it was 10 feet closer. I didn't hear a footstep. I didn't see a shadow move. It's as if reality is skipping frames, like a broken reel of film. It's right there. I can hear the static now, but it's not noise. It's 1,000 different voices, all whispering my name at the same time, muffled by a sheet of lead. David ran. He ran until his lungs burned like acid, but every time he turned his head, the figure was there. Always the same distance, always perfectly still. It didn't chase him. It simply existed closer to him every time he looked away. He finally reached his car and drove until the sun came up. But the static didn't stay in the woods. It followed him home. It began to leak out of his car radio. It pulsed from his microwave. Even with the power cut to his house, the humming continued. David's descent into madness was captured by his neighbor's statement to the police. He reported hearing David screaming at his own walls, begging the noise to stop. David was heard shouting, "It's not in the trees anymore. It's in the wires. I can see it in the light bulbs. The air is shaking. It's not a sound. It's a skin. It's trying to wrap itself around me. Please, just let me go silent." When the authorities finally broke down the door, the apartment was a tomb of scratched wood and shattered glass. Every electronic device had been systematically destroyed. David was gone. On the kitchen table, untouched, sat his 35mm camera. The lab developed the roll, expecting nothing but black frames. And they were right. 23 frames of pure, light-damaged blackness. But the 24th frame was clear. It was a photo of David's bedroom, taken from a high angle near the ceiling. David was curled in a fetal position in the corner, his eyes wide, his skin pale as salt. And standing directly over him was a hand. A gray, elongated hand, with fingers the length of a human torso, its jagged nails just millimeters away from touching the back of his neck. If you are listening to this right now, pay attention to the sound of this voice. If you hear a slight buzzing in your speakers, if your screen flickers for just a fraction of a second, don't check your internet. The static man doesn't need a forest to hide. He just needs a signal, and you just gave him yours.